Have you ever found yourself wondering, is there a Clint Eastwood movie where he plays a former assassin turned art teacher now trying to be drawn back in by his former employer in Cold War espionage type action with colorful characters and mountain climbing? Well, if so, I have the movie for you, The Eiger Sanction. Let's talk about it today. This is the Geek Cabal channel. My name is Bobbie, and today we're going to be talking about The Eiger Sanction, a Clint Eastwood movie from the 70s. So yeah, like I said, obviously Clint Eastwood's in the movie. If you don't know who that is, he's in a lot of westerns. The big ones he's known for: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Unforgiven is the more recent, and by recent I mean I'm pretty sure it's in the 90s. Then of course The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is part of a trilogy of loosely aligned movies that go by either the Man with No Name trilogy or the Dollars trilogy. And then he's also known as Harry Callahan in the Dirty Harry movies, of which there are 5, which span across 3 decades. I think the first one was in the 70s, unless it's in the 60s. But then the last one is, I believe, in the 80s. But I could be mistaken on that. The last one had Liam Neeson, unless I'm mistaken, as a director of some sort. I believe Jim Carrey was in it as a musician of some kind. He didn't make it very long. I think it was Jim Carrey. It's been a while since I've seen the movie. Anyway, that's not the point. So, and he's in all kinds of other movies, and he's eventually turned to directing, and has directed a number of movies. And yeah, so here he plays an art teacher who we find out used to be an assassin for presumably the government. Based on the way everyone talks, I'm assuming it's like the CIA. And he's out of the game, but someone he knows got killed, and so they're trying to drag him back in to take out the people on the other side that did the deed. So, who else is with him in this adventure? Well, you have George Kennedy, who I'm guessing most of you probably know him best as Frank Drebin's partner in the Naked Gun movies. And I can't think of his name off the top of my head in those movies, but he's in those. And he is also in The Dirty Dozen, at least the first one. I don't think he was in the second one. And I'm sure he's got several other credits to his name. Those are the movies off the top of my head that I know him from. He's an observer there. He's not actually on the mission. That's a good movie, though. You should check that out if you haven't ever seen that. It's got Lee Marvin, Jim Brown, Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas, and yeah, I know I'm definitely forgetting some other people in that movie, but it's a excellent movie. Also had a sequel. The sequel's decent too, but it's a World War II like suicide mission type movie. It's pretty good. But yeah, then we also have Jack Cassidy, who I kind of looked through the credits there, and the main thing I know him from is he's the villain, the killer, in at least two episodes of Columbo. One where he's an author, and he's got like a co-author, and he tried to like plan the perfect murder, and the other one where he's a magician who is secretly a former Nazi. And he plays a guy who used to be friends with Clint Eastwood's character and betrayed him at some point, and so he thinks that Eastwood thinks that he's got something to do with all this. He's been led to believe this. And the guy also comes after Eastwood, basically the whole like, hey, I'm tired of looking over my shoulder. Are you coming after me or not? And there's various other people in the movie, but those are the bigger knowns there. So as I was beginning to say there, the basic plot is that another agent's been killed. He was the friend. Like, there's a picture that Eastwood is explaining at one point with him, the Cassidy's character I just mentioned, and the gentleman who was killed back whenever they were in, I'm assuming, Vietnam. And the other gentleman, the one who got killed, carried Eastwood several miles after he'd been wounded and saved his life, and Cassidy betrayed them, Cassidy's character. And so he gets killed, and then his handler, a guy named Dragon, who's an albino, so he has to stay in this room where there's basically very, very low lights, and every once in a while he has to get a blood transfusion and things like this, and just general weird guy. He basically threatens Eastwood. This is not enough for the money, but Eastwood has acquired several art pieces. Obviously he's done so through sketchy means, mostly probably with the money he's being paid for being an assassin, which doesn't ever show up on his taxes or anything. So as Dragon points out, like, how's someone that makes your amount of money afford your lifestyle? Like, I'm sure the IRS would like to know about all this. So along with the money to do the deed, Eastwood also wants a letter from the IRS stipulating that they're aware of his art collection. As far as they're aware, it was acquired legally, he owes no taxes on it, etc., etc. And so he agrees to kill one of the two people involved, and he only stipulates the first one, and he goes and he takes him out. And by the way, that's the name, the Eiger Sanction. That's what it means, sanctioning. It's their euphemism for killing. So they takes them out, and there's a woman who shows up and seduces him, and he sleeps with her. And then whenever he wakes up, she's gone, his safe's been gotten into, and she has the letter and the money. So Dragon has the leverage to get him to go after the other guy. Well, the problem is they don't know who the other guy is. They just know that he is for sure going to be on this expedition to try to go up the Eiger, which is a mountain in, I think, Switzerland. Or at least that's what the movie claims. I didn't bother to look it up to see if it's actually, like, if that's the name of it or anything. I'm assuming it is, because it'd be pretty stupid to make up a fake name for a known location, but, you never know. Movies do stupid things. So he has to train, and that's where George Kennedy's character comes in, because he is already like a kind of a mountain climber. That's one of the reasons why they want him to do this. So he goes to George Kennedy, and he's training him, and although he's not really going down the trail with him, he's got a younger woman that's getting him in shape and everything, climbing and running, and because the Eiger's pretty high, and you got to be in real fit physical condition, and he's not a young man anymore, etc., etc. So that's where the other guy, the one that kind of screwed him, shows up, and he's got a big bodyguard with him, and eventually it comes to a confrontation. Eastwood shoots the bodyguard, then drives the other guy like 50 miles out in the middle of nowhere and just leaves him there in the middle of the desert. And you find out later that they did find his body, so he did just die out in the middle of nowhere. So, and this is after the woman who's been training him tries to attack him, and it's been on the orders of the other guy. So he then he takes off to head for the mountain, him and George Kennedy's character, because he's running the team. And so the only thing he knows is it's one of the three other people on the team. He just doesn't know which one. Supposedly it's a guy that walks with a limp. None of them really have a limp. And so he's supposed to feel it out, and you know, he's waiting, hoping that there's like some intel is going to show up to be like, hey, it's this guy. But it never does. So the four of them take off for the mountain, and the woman who seduced him earlier shows back up, trying to tell him that no, she really did show up because she loves him. Like the other wasn't an assignment. Like she wasn't supposed to, didn't have to seduce him. Like she generally cared for him, and you know, she's here now, and you know, yada yada. And he tries to explain to her the type of people she's working for, and actually, I think he explained it a little bit earlier in the movie. Because he mentions the dragon is a former Nazi, and who's like came over to the American side. And she's like, yeah. He's like, yeah. So how's it feel working for that? He's like, yeah, it's kind of a shock to me too. And then there's another guy that Dragon is sent to kind of make sure everything's going on in Pope. He's just a jackass, and Eastwood and him have it out a little bit. So then all the hikers get going. It's Eastwood and three other guys, and as they're going up, Pope starts talking to the woman, because they work for the same agency, and is like, yeah, well, it's almost a shame that it's all pointless. And she's like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, this is all pointless. This is all just to maintain a cover. He's like, the formula that they stole, because they killed the guy originally in the beginning of the movie to steal a formula for some kind of germ weapon. And he's like, the formula, it's fake. It's bad. It doesn't do anything. And she's like, what? He goes, yeah, it's fake. He's like, so what are we doing all this for? He's like, well, they killed one of our guys. They expect us to kill the killers in return. Otherwise, they won't believe it. If we do nothing, then they'll know the thing's a fake. We have to respond. So, yeah. So he's up there risking his life, you know, just to maintain a cover of a story. It's not even actually about revenge. And remember all this here in a minute, because there's another twist coming. So they go up there, and George Kennedy and the others, there's a hotel down like a valley where you can see the mountain. They got, you know, telescopes set up, and a bunch of jet setting types, you know, go there and, you know, kind of watch the people climbing the mountain. And, you know, it's just one of those kind of deals, kind of ritzy looking place. And so they're down there watching him, and snow begins moving in, and one of the guys takes a pretty nasty hit to the head, and they've got to pull him up while he's like concussed, and then they're kind of sleeping there in the middle of the night, and the next morning they wake up and he's dead. So one guy's down, and so then it's Eastwood and two guys, and they've got to haul the other guy's body around. And they realize there's no way they can actually finish the climb. One, because the guy's dead, but two, also, like, it's snowing, it's covering the mountain in ice, and it's just not going to happen. They're going to die if they try it. So there's a train tunnel partway up, and because they can't go back the way they came, so they're going to make for the train tunnel, because they know that George Kennedy's character will know to try to, once he sees that that's where they're going, that he'll bring a rescue team up there and try to meet him there. I have no idea why there's a tunnel just like halfway up the mountain that just opens up to the mountain. Like the tracks don't go anywhere. Like it just opens up as just a hole out in space there. So I guess that's a thing that happens on some of these mountains. So yeah, they get going that way, and one of the two guys like loses his footing, so off he goes. And then the other guy gets skittish like a minute later and slips, and then off he goes, and I think the body went tumbling with him. So then it's just Eastwood. So he has done nothing, but he's taken out all three of the guys that may have like been the guy. So and then he falls, but the ropes catch him, and he's dangling in front of the tunnel. And so George Kennedy and the other guys are there, and so they throw him a rope and hook him on. And like I said, the guy they were looking for has a limp. All of a sudden he notices that old George Kennedy is walking with a limp. And he comments on that. After Kennedy's got him hooked to the rope, he tells him he has to cut the other rope that's holding him. And so he does. And Kennedy's rope catches him. They pull him in. They get him on the train. And Kennedy first is like, oh, that's that damn gangrene, you know, the cold acting up. And Then finally, he notices that Eastwood's just kind of staring at him. It's like, all right, I'm the guy you're after. Like, I didn't kill the other guy. The other guy wasn't supposed to kill him. I got there and he'd already done the deed. And then he's like, well, how'd you start working for the other side? And it had to do with the other guy that kind of screwed him, that he left in the middle of the desert. He had done him a favor because the young girl that was helping Eastwood is really George Kennedy's daughter. And she had a drug addiction, and the other guy got her off of it, and then wanted something in return, and all of a sudden he finds himself working for the other side occasionally. And so, basically, the two of them come to an understanding. Eastwood's like, well, you could have killed me there, but you didn't. And you could let the other guy kill me back at your place, and you didn't. So I trust you. And they get back down there on the ground. He talks to Dragon there on the phone. And Dragon's like, that's pretty ruthless. You couldn't figure out which one it was. He just took all three of them out. And he's like, well, I guess. And just hangs up on him. And so he tells George Kennedy, like, look, we're squared. Don't worry about it. I'm not coming after you, whatever. And then the woman's like, did you really just kill all three of them because you couldn't figure out which one it was? And he's like, So, yeah. Yep. Cold War, assassination, mountain climbing. It's all here. Some spectacular shots as far as the mountain stuff. Not just at the Eiger, but also in the desert when he's training. And, yeah, a lot of tense moments towards the end there on the mountain, wondering when it's all going to come to a head. Who's going to take out how and whatnot. And yeah, overall it's a decent movie. Probably a 6.5, 7, somewhere in there. Not a spectacular movie, but it was a decent movie. Eastwood, good as always. There's some violence, obviously. It's mostly bloodless violence. And it's not like excessive blood when there is blood. So, I will note that for any of you younger people that happen to be watching this, there will be some scenes that, like, you're going to be like, well, so that's what the 70s was like, huh? As far as, like, how Eastwood treats women at various points in the movie, things like that, and just the kind of attitude people have towards certain things. I'm not saying this is a negative by any stretch of the imagination. Just to be clear, like, the movie is what it is. Like all things, it's a product of its time, and I'm not complaining. This is just if you're sensitive to those types of things, then be ready. But yeah, other than that, I'd say if you like Eastwood in general, or like kind of spy thriller things, I'd say you'd probably like the movie. If you like lots of mountain climbing shots, you'll probably like the movie. Yeah. So yeah, that's about all I've got to say on that one. I happen to catch this one on Amazon Prime, so there'll be the links down there in the affiliate links down there in the description if you're interested, or if you have Prime already, check it out. It's one that's free on there if you already got Prime. So yeah, or if you have some other means of watching it, obviously, by all means. But yeah, that's about all I've got to say. So let me know down in the comments, have you seen this movie before? If you have, what'd you think about it? Do you think you're going to check it out? What's your favorite Eastwood movie? You prefer his westerns? Me personally, I think it's probably Pale Rider for me, but I'm not sure. Like, I've got to watch Unforgiven a few more times, because I didn't watch it all the way through until just like a couple years ago, whereas I've seen some of his other westerns several times. So, but I think for me, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is great, but I think Pale Rider is the better movie. Just, to my mind anyway. But anyway, let me know down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Sharing and commenting helps us grow the channel. We always appreciate it. And obviously subscribing. And for those of you who helped us get over 500 subscribers, we really appreciate you and hope you stick with us. And those of you who want to jump on board, feel free to. We always appreciate that too. But yeah, that's all I've got to say on this one. So I guess see you on the slopes. Or actually probably don't want to see him on the slopes, because if it's any indication of this movie, you'll die. But, you know, you get it. See you later.